For many people, a new year is a chance to be a new you. But that may mean changing the way that we think about ourselves. Author Catherine Orford has written a book on how to become your #1 fan, and she's here to teach us how to do that. Now, you're right about, Catherine, that you went through some dark times yourself.
I sure did, yes. About 29 years ago, actually. The long story short, the man of my dreams turned out to be my biggest nightmare. In hindsight, he was my biggest gift, which is always the case.
Yes.
But I didn't know that I was adopted at the time. He dumped me, overlapped his women, married another woman within 3 months. I put on my Superwoman cape, pretended I was okay, but of course inside I wasn't okay, and I couldn't sustain that. And so I ended up falling into quite a deep, dark depression. And I was a dance teacher, and when I turned on music and I felt nothing, like numb, I just went, well, if I can't express myself through dance, I don't want to be here.
Oh, wow. So how did you get out of it?
Well, the thing that really was the biggest thing when I was actually chastising myself for not being able to organize my own suicide, this inner critic was like having a field day. And when I chose life, I chose never to allow anyone to rob me of my self-esteem again, because I gave away my personal power to him. You know, I allowed him to break my heart. I want to make that perfectly clear. You know, people go, oh, you broke my heart. No, you can't do that. You have to allow that to happen.
Now, you say we have an inner critic. What do we do about our inner critic?
We absolutely have to interrupt the pattern. And it doesn't matter how you do it, but you can change the tone, because the tone will be really, really critical, right? Change it to silly, change it to sultry. Do whatever it takes, but don't allow that inner critic or the negative thought to be in your brain for more than 10 seconds. Change the tone, change the volume, drown it out. I used to say, out of here, I don't need you anymore. Out of here, I don't need you anymore. And then put a positive onto the end, because then we're creating new neural pathways in our brain.
Now you've got 4 points that we need to remember. Tell me about those.
Well, one is just stop that inner critic. Just don't allow it to run the show, because you can take control, and people don't realize that. The other thing is, as women in particular, but men do it as well, stop playing the compare and despair game. Yes, comparing and going, oh, I'm not as pretty, as clever, as slim, as fit, as whatever. We start to realize we're not good enough around the age of 2. And then we build all of this conditioning, and we start putting on a persona, and we start pretending. So I really, really suggest that instead of comparing and despairing, compare and dare. Compare and dare to be your best you, because no one else on the planet can be you.
That sounds very good. Now, you say treat yourself like a child.
Yes, because as tiny children, guess what? We didn't have that inner critic, did we?
No.
We just did it. We just did it. And we didn't know the meaning of the word failure. We would fall over and we'd just get up and have another go, and we got clapped for failing. How's that? And so we think failing is fun. And then it all changes. So find a picture. Get your viewers, I highly encourage them, find a picture of yourself as a tiny child between the age of about 6 months and 18 months, before we started hearing don't, silly, all those things. Look into the eyes of that tiny child every morning. And then promise to them, and put it on your devices, promise them, I'm going to treat you with the love and the respect that you deserve, and I'm going to nurture you, because the way we speak to ourselves sometimes is not how we would treat a tiny baby, is it?
So we just get rid of those past experiences.
Yes, and the past experiences, sometimes people drag the past into the current reality, and guess what they create? More of the same. Go back to my really darkest moment, but I've actually reframed it, and that was a gift. And I go, get the lessons. What did I learn from that? Don't give away my power to anyone
else. It's like making a new story out of what had already happened.
Oh, we've got to hear more of this. You can learn more about Catherine and about her work if you go to her website. There's so much more we want to hear about this, about becoming your #1 fan. And next, if you've been missing those great Jewish delis around here, we'll tell you where you can find one.